DreAllDay.com.
What's going on, everybody? Today is Friday, August 21st, 2015. You're watching this on Saturday, August 27th. This is Dre Baldwin. The website is DreAllDay.com. Welcome to Q&A number 84, where I take all the comments and questions from the previous week's Q&A's comments. I read them out loud here on camera, respond to them, and this video becomes the next Q&A. So this basically self-generates these Q&As. So as long as y'all keep coming with good, thought-provoking questions, I'll keep making these. The questions get whacked and we end it. Before we get started, let y'all know hoophandbook.com. We got 33 new signature workout programs. That means a total of almost 90 NBA signature workout 30-day programs, all on the website hoophandbook.com. And I think that's the only announcement I got. So let's get right into it, because I'm sure something else will come up in the questions. So first question comes from PVC Lock left a comment that says WOYFG. Sometimes I get them WOYFG. Work on your fucking game. So shout out to PVC Lock and Ricardo. State of Nate 802 says, do you still have that series where you share what songs you have on your playlist? That always helped me to find new music. You should bring it back. That's a good idea. I thought about that a couple weeks ago and I never got around to making a video. So maybe as soon as I get done with this video, I'll record another one of those, maybe another 2 or 3 of those, as long as I remember to do it. So thank you for letting me know. Next, Zachary said it was funny that you said you weren't even filming. So he's talking about last week's vid. Yeah, it was funny afterwards. It wasn't funny when I realized that I wasn't filming. But next question. Prince says, are you going to make a vid on how to set up or create a website? I'm a basketball player. I want to promote myself in the future when it comes to basketball and expressing myself as a person. Well, it's not really much that you need to have explained to you, Prince. If you want to start promoting yourself and putting yourself out there on the internet, it's pretty simple. You can start a blog on WordPress for free. If you want to make that into a website, all you need to do is get a domain name at whatever site sells domains, GoDaddy.com, and the hundreds of other sites sell domain names. Doesn't really matter where you get it from. You're going to need hosting, which is basically like you could start a business, but you need an actual space to put your store on, like the real estate is hosting. So you get hosting from wherever you want to get it. Again, GoDaddy has this. That's where I get mine from. And that's pretty much it. And then you just get your platform. You can also just use WordPress on GoDaddy, which is also what I do. So I get all my stuff from pretty much from GoDaddy and through WordPress. And then you got to create the content. As far as design and all that, I'm not a web designer. I know how to put together a website. I put together my own websites. I made all my websites myself, but they took some time because I'm not a web designer. If I hired a web designer, it probably would have took a lot less time to get to where they are. But since I'm an amateur when it comes to that stuff, it took me a while to get it right. But I'm a professional in marketing and branding myself. So if you want to learn about that, that's something I can talk about. But as far as the actual creation of the website, I'm not an expert on that. But again, there's not much that you need to know. All you need to do is just go get the domain name, get the hosting, and then start making content. Those are the 3 things that you need. You don't need a video on that. You just need to go do it. Next question. Tay says, it doesn't relate to basketball, but when you read books, how do you focus and not get lost in the book? I don't know what you mean. That's like the same thing. To get lost in the book means you're reading a book and you're so into it, you're not paying attention to anything outside of what you're actually reading, which is what you want to do. And when you're reading a good book, that's what you're going to do, because the book should make you want to completely focus on what's the next thing that's going to happen, or next thing that's going to be said, or the next piece of information that's going to be shared, or the next thing that happens in the story, whatever it is that you happen to be reading. So if you're focused on a book, you will get lost in the book. Next, William Lowe says, could you make a video offering advice to junior college players? Advice on what? Tell me exactly what you need advice on, and I'll see if it's video worthy. Next, Rodney says, Dre, I got my first dunk this week. So congratulations to Rodney for getting his first dunk. Next, Amir says, Dre, during the off season, I do a combination of weightlifting and calisthenics. During the season, should I not lift and only do calisthenics to get my strength up? Thanks, and keep up the good work. I think during the season, Amir, you can still lift weights. Just because it's the season doesn't mean there's any reason for you to not lift weights. So I think you should keep doing that. If you want to keep your strength up, you need to strength train. Calisthenics is, I guess, body weight exercises, from as far as I understand. If you want to continue improving your strength and maintaining your strength, you need to do strength training. Next, Jordan says, do you have any tips on being more physical and being better at driving to the basket to create contact? I do, because I actually have a video on that called How to Drive to the Basket Aggressively. So look up that video, and those are the tips. Devontae says, Drake or Meek Mill? Drake. Eli says, how do you get more open in games? Well, you had to play in some games and get some game experience. It's not something that I could explain to you in words, that if you just go do what I say, all of a sudden you're going to be getting open in games. You have to get game experience. That's how you learn to play in games. Next, Take Flight Says, Dre, can you become an effective shooter by training every day without a rebounder? Because when I practice shooting, I just shoot the ball, I get the rebound, and go shoot and do it over and over again. Can you become an above average shooter doing this? Well, of course, you watch my videos, right? Do you ever see me with a rebounder? Most of the time, I don't have a rebounder. So yes, of course, you can become a great shooter without having a rebound. And overall, a bigger picture thought is, the more you practice, the fewer you're going to have anybody with you. If you're practicing a lot, working on your game a lot, there's not always going to be somebody else in there doing it just as much as you are. You're probably going to be the most dedicated person in your circle, on your team, amongst your friends. So it's not going to be anybody to rebound for you. You just got to do the work yourself. So what you're doing can work, so just keep working. Next, the Zendre says, Dre, I remember you mentioned that you were on a paleo diet. Does the diet promote eating organic, non-GMO foods? I believe you have it shipped to you, right? Well, I'm not on paleo anymore. That I was probably a couple years ago. I was talking about paleo, but you probably haven't seen my latest video. I am, I guess, a vegetarian/vegan. So I guess say vegetarian because I still eat cheese and I'll eat fish. So I'll say vegetarian or pescatarian, whatever you want to call it. Doesn't matter. I don't eat meat. Let's put it that way. No chicken, no turkey, no red meat, stuff like that. Very few fried foods unless it's an emergency. As far as does the diet promote, well, first of all, it's not a diet, it's a lifestyle. A diet is temporary. So a lifestyle is like the way that you're going to eat, period. A diet is like, all right, I'm going to eat this way for 30 days or for 3 months or something like that. A lifestyle is, this is just the way that I eat, period. There's not a beginning and end to it. It just keeps going until or unless I decide to change. As far as promote, the diet doesn't really promote anything. I'm just using his words since he said diet. It doesn't promote anything. There are basic fundamentals to it. So the fundamentals are, if we're talking paleo, that you only eat meat, vegetables, and fruits. That's it. Those are the fundamentals of it. It doesn't promote anything. It's not a sales pitch. It's just a way of living. All right, next. The Good Guys Full says, do you think the popularity of basketball as a sport is going to increase in consideration to other sports over time? Well, yeah, I think that's already happening. Next. Swayzo says, do you have stories about your tattoos, any sentimental meaning, or do you get them just because? By the way, thanks for the motivation videos that help me a lot. I don't know anyone who has a tattoo that they just got it just because. Well, actually, let me take that back. There may be a few people, but not people that I interact with. So yes, I've talked about tattoos already. This says energy, persistence, preparation, boldness. This means ambition, and this says superstar. Those are all the tattoos I got. Next, Abdul Rahman Alexander says, how do you incorporate things from the videos that you watch? Also, how should I go about watching film of other players to improve my game? Thanks in advance. Well, you should say thanks in, I don't even know how to even say it. But anyway, I already made a video about that probably a week and a half ago. I put it out, how to use video to improve your game immediately. So go look up that video and watch it because that question has already been answered in detail. Next, Abdul Rahman. He said, great video. My question is, how do you have more stamina for playing basketball and not get tired fast? That's always been a problem with my game. Well, you need to do a conditioning program, which I have at hoophandbook.com. Just look up conditioning, get that program, and do it. Next, Andrew says, how do I get my coach's attention at conditioning, and how do I make it at high school conditioning? You get his attention by being a good player, by being one of the best out there, or being the best out there. So that's how you get his attention. Damn, I'm tough says, do pro and overseas coaches look at D2 and D3 schools? Pro and overseas coaches don't look at schools, they look at players. So if you can play, they're going to look at you, and if you can't play, they won't look at you. It doesn't matter what level you came from. Next, Muhammad says, Dre, I'm under 19. I play basketball in Norway. I play for a club called Gimle Basket in Norway. Do I know how he can get in college or get contacts for college and any breakout camps for players in the United States? I really want to play in the States, but I don't know what to do. Look up the video where I talk about how to play basketball in America coming from Europe. Also on my website, the Guys and Tips page, I have a page where I talk about that. If you are overseas or outside the United States and you want to play college basketball in the United States, I write out and make a video and have a video on how you can do that. So go find that information, read it, watch it, and apply it. Next, Marcus Williams says, do you think other sports are fundamental to being a better basketball player? Did you play any other sports? If so, what sports? I don't understand this question. It says, do I think other sports are fundamental to being a better basketball player? The fundamental to being a better basketball player is practicing the fundamentals of basketball. So it's not swimming, not boxing, not football, not baseball. If you want to be good at basketball, you got to play basketball. Next, James Carlos says, if I do squats, will it help my vertical? Well, it depends. Depends on how many squats you're doing, what else you're doing outside of doing the squats, what position, where you are physically right now, where you are as far as jumping right now, what your body is, how your body is put together right now. And so there's a whole bunch of factors that go into it. So just asking that question itself, no one can give you a straight answer as to yes it will or no it won't. You need a complete program if you want to improve your vertical. It's more than doing just one exercise. Next, Fran Masnick says, when is the part 4 Jacob Hiller video coming out? I don't even know what part 3 was that you're talking about, so don't hold your breath. Next, George Lee says, Dre, if you work out and play basketball every day for a long time, does it become a natural part of your lifestyle? And does it get easier to do every day since you are used to it? Well, I think you can answer that question yourself, George. It's one of those $1 million questions. If I offered you $1 million to answer your own question, how would you answer that? Next, Frosty says, must have been a good question because I had you talking for a while. LOL. I don't even know what his question was. But anyway, he says, I'm interested in the Leaders Eat Last book that you were talking about. I'm going to check it out. Thanks. Well, good. Don't check it out. Get it and read it. You don't check out books. You read books. Next, Elijah says, how could I prepare my team for our first basketball game? I don't think we are prepared. It's in 2 weeks. Keep up the good work. Well, you prepare by setting an example. You set the example, and if you're setting the example every single day, eventually people will follow you. But you can't make anybody else do anything. Mr. Steve says, I plan on making my JV team in September, but lately everyone tells me that my school's basketball team sucks. I'm going to be a freshman. All I care about is playing ball, but I want to win. If my team is bad, should I try to be a team leader and carry a team? Well, that's another one of those $1 million questions, Steve. If I offered you $1 million to answer your own question, how would you answer that? Because it's not really for me to say what you should do. It's for you to say what you should do. So don't ask me. You ask yourself, figure it out. And I think you already know the answer. So anyway, Albert. Next question. It says, 3 months ago, I started getting super hot with my outside shot. Everything fell, and I started feeling really good. One day I went on YouTube and I was watching some video where they were talking about sweep and sway and how to become a great shooter. Now nothing is going in. I can't master this thing that I watched on YouTube. And my mind can't remember from before I watched the video when I was shooting really hot. I've been practicing for like 10 years and now I'm starting over. It's frustrating because I feel like I lost it all because I tried to duplicate what I saw on YouTube and I failed. I can't remember my old form and this one's not working. Help me please. I feel like a beginner again. Alright, so the answer to that is you really need to help yourself, Albert. You had a form that was working for you, then you watched something on YouTube, you tried to duplicate it. I don't know why you tried to do that. But anyway, your shot's not falling. I don't think it's because of the video. You're using the video as a crutch. It might just be because you stopped putting in the work. Maybe something in your mind is going on that you're thinking that you need to be this instead of being that. But that's not the video's fault. That's your fault. You decided to do that. The video didn't make you do anything. The video is just the video. It doesn't force anybody to take any actions. It doesn't force anybody to think anything, do anything, say anything. You chose what to think, do, and say. So it is 100% your fault. Don't blame the YouTube video. And if you get good again, don't say it was a YouTube video was the reason why you got good. It will again be your fault if you get good. It'll be your fault if you get bad. So you need to get on the court, find your old form, whatever was working for you, maybe incorporate this new form, maybe incorporate both of them together, maybe do something completely different than all of that. But whatever happens, it will be 100% your responsibility, good or bad. Next, James says, my school is dropping their freshman team. A lot of my friends aren't trying out for JV because they feel like they have no chance. Any tips on tryouts, and should I bother to try out for the team? I don't have any tips on tryouts because tryouts are just basketball. So you know how to play basketball, so you don't need tips. And should you try out for the team, that's for you to decide. This is your life. If you decide not to, you got to live with that decision. If you decide to try out, you got to live with that decision. I don't have to live with it, so it's not for me to say what you should do. You need to think for yourself. Next, Aaron CBA. Aaron a CBA. Dre, I love your vids. I've been subbed since 2012. I've enjoyed your content ever since. My question is, if you had to add one or a pair of YouTubers to your TBT team, who would you add and why? No fucking body. I wouldn't add nobody from YouTube to a real basketball team. If I want to put together a real basketball team, I got to get some real basketball players. Now, if it's a bunch of YouTubers playing against each other, then I guess I had to find some YouTubers. I had to settle for some YouTubers. But if it's a real basketball game, I got to find real players. So just look at when you see the real basketball games going on, you don't see any YouTubers, do you? I mean, you see me. You don't see nobody else. Next question. Skip Bayless. His name is Skip Bayless, and his question is Skip Bayless or Stephen A. Smith. Neither, really, but if I had to pick one, I guess I go Stephen A. Actually, no, I'll go Stephen A. I'm a fan of Stephen A, just not when he's on that show. I don't like that show. Next, Regis says, is it better to lift weights before practice or after? I already made a video about that, so go find it. Next, Tech Gaming says, what should I do when even my father is a naysayer? He always tells me I suck and I won't make it. Please help. I need motivation. Well, if you need motivation, you and anyone else out there, you better go find it. It ain't my job to motivate you. It's nobody else's job to motivate you. It's not YouTube's job. Anybody on YouTube's job. It's not a book's job. It's your job to motivate yourself. Because if I motivated you today, you know what's going to happen 2 weeks from now? Somebody else is going to say something negative to you, and you're going to come back and say, hey, can you motivate me again? I don't look for people who need to be motivated. I look for people who are already motivated, and then we can point them in the right direction. If you're not motivated, then nobody can help you. Nothing can save you. You need to motivate yourself. Next question, Scotty Gilby, last question. Says, I know I can play on varsity this year, but last year the team went 0-27. How should I ask the new coach? Any defensive quickness drills? As far as defense, yes, I do have a whole playlist on defense and a program at hoophandbook.com. How should you ask the new coach? You don't ask the coach nothing. All you do is show up to tryouts and show you a game. And that's your way of asking. So players always come to me and they say, yo, how do I approach the coach about this? Or how do I approach the coach about that? Listen, if you can't fucking play, the coach doesn't want to talk to you. So don't ask for tips on and strategies on how to approach a coach. If I'm a coach and you can't play, I don't want to talk to you. Why are you standing in front of me? If you can't play, get on the court and work on your game until you can. And when you can play, you won't have to worry about approaching the coach because the coach will approach you. So that's it. And the team is 0-27. You ain't got nothing to lose. You weren't on the team before. If you go try out and don't make it, you still won't be on the team, so you didn't lose anything. So just go try out, work on your game first of all so you can actually play. You don't want to show up with no game. And that's it. Everybody, thank you for the questions this week. Please keep coming with good questions. We'll come back next week as long as the questions are good. That'll be Q&A number 85. Work on your fucking game. DreAllDay.com.
Thanks for checking out this video. Make sure you follow all my top content up here. Follow me on all your favorite social networks right over here. And make sure you are subscribed to catch all the new content I put on this channel every single day. Work on your game.